Welcome, amazing people, to this Ask Me Anything, where you can literally ask me anything, either live, if you're watching live, comment below, say live, or if you're watching the replay, comment below, say replay. And you can ask your questions underneath on the replay, and then I'll make another one of these and we'll share with you the answers then. So some people have already messaged me some questions, which is really cool. And one of the first questions I got was, why are you doing these Ask Me Anything videos? So I'd love to know your questions below. But basically, why am I doing these Ask Me Anything videos? Well, there's a saying that if you want success, model success. And one of my mentors has a huge YouTube channel that has blown up, and he does these Ask Me Anything videos. And it's a really good way for you to get to know me. It's a really good way for us just to connect on a deeper level, because you don't normally get a chance to actually ask the questions that you want. So I'd love to know what you have for me. And secondly, the good thing about this is I work really well when people give me questions. It's like I can just channel and it works very beautifully. So please do let me know. What would you love to know? It can be about me. It can be about life. You can ask me something deep and philosophical. I will be completely honest with you. So we have a question here. Amazing. It says, I'm curious, are you a Christian? No, I'm not a Christian. I was raised in a Christian family. I was baptized, but it was a very fear-based Christian family. Not family. My family baptized me because that's just kind of what you do, but we weren't really practicing. But our school was a Christian school, and so I know a lot about that religion. But the way they were teaching it was very fear-based, and it was like there's a man in the sky who's going to send you to hell if you don't go to church on a Sunday, and I just don't vibe with that. God, the creator, to me is all about love, and so I hope that answered it. We have a question here from somebody called Mariam Zulfikar Scott, who says, who is your favorite person or persons, people, ever? So those of you who know Mariam or Mia, you know that's my wife, and she is my favorite person in the whole entire world, and I tell her that all the time. And we were best friends before we got married, and it's really beautiful to marry my best friend. And so you know you're my favorite, so that's a loaded question. Beautiful. We have a question here. It says, what are your plans for 2020, both business-wise and spiritually? Ooh, I like it. Okay. One thing to know about guys, if you want a genuine answer from guys, we have to take our time and go deep into our emotions. And if we give you a quick answer, that's usually something that's rehearsed for most guys. Plans for 2020. I've seen some crazy visions. When I do my meditations, I get shown visions, and it's insane. So I've seen a vision of us selling out the O2 Arena in London, which is 20,000 people, and of me being on stage performing with our Standout Speakers Academy. And for those of you who know, we run a public speaking academy called the Standout Speakers, but it's different to most speaking academies because it's very spiritual. It's all about connection and learning how to flow on stage and be totally yourself with no fear. And so I've seen this vision where we do a world tour. It's like a world stadium tour. And I'm not just speaking on stage, but I'm singing and performing on stage, which is why I started relearning guitar. So I used to play guitar when I was younger, and I started relearning it. And you can see a video on my Facebook or on my YouTube of me actually. I composed a song and I sang it live on Facebook. It's my first ever time doing it. So I don't know when that's going to happen. Someone's told me it could be 2020. I hope it is. So let me know if you want to come speak. We're looking for great speakers. If you would love to speak at the O2 Arena, 20,000 people, comment below, let me know. And I'd love to connect you in with our public speaking group. We have a completely free group where we teach you loads of public speaking. There's all sorts of trainings and things. So if you feel like that could be good for you, then let me know. And spiritually, I'm really looking for a great mentor. I really believe that if you want to get fast results, get a mentor. And I'm looking for my next mentor who is already smashing it, who has a successful spirituality business, who runs retreats that are big. I want big. I want to be speaking on international festivals next year, and my book is coming out really soon. We're just in the final stages of publishing, and then that will come out and sell millions of copies. That's one of the visions. So that's what I've got in store. Question: do you personally have a life coach? How did you get started doing what you do? Meaning, what motivated you in this area? Okay, nice. I have so many different mentors at the moment. I really believe we need mentors in lots of different areas. So I have people who help me with my business. I have people for spirituality. I have mentors for health. Yeah, lots of different ones. A mentor for my physical stuff, like working out. So you can get guidance on everything. So definitely get a coach or a mentor. They say that Richard Branson has 46 coaches and mentors at the moment, which is pretty cool. And how did you get started doing what you do? So I used to be a sales coach and a sales mentor, a trainer for a big corporate company. So I was really good at teaching people. And then I got targeted for this public speaking event. And I went there, and the guy told me that I could basically travel all around the world as a public speaker, make loads of money, and help people. And it just felt so exciting. So I was like, I just quit my job. It moved to London and started my business. I was living in Newcastle at the time. It took a little while for me to get the transition from corporate to the speaking. But yeah, within 6 months, I was speaking in Vietnam, in Malaysia, doing 3-day events and getting people to run to the back of the stage, running, throwing their credit cards to buy the stuff. And so it was a crazy journey. And that was in October 2015. I went to that first event and changed my whole life. And that's actually also where I met my wife, very interestingly. I hope that was good. Someone says, I would love to be a speaker. Send me a message and we can talk. Amazing. Yes, please, let's connect. I would love for you to come speak at our events. We run 6 events a month, which is kind of crazy, right? They're just in-person events, and we also do online events. And we're always looking for great speakers. So if that's you and you're looking for more speaking experience, or maybe you haven't even started yet and you just want to know how to start, I would love, love, love for you to come and be a part of what we do. So I have some questions online. I'm just going to scroll down and find what people were asking. Let me know if you have any questions. Literally ask me anything. It can be deep, can be stupid, it can be about me, can be about the universe. If you've got something going on in your life or your business, kind of can be like an agony aunt in those columns. Let me know, what is it that you would love to know from me? And do you know when you need something to work fast is when your computer decides to go slow. Here we go. Okay, somebody has asked me, what do you think is the ultimate goal in life, and why do people need to embrace the importance of internal wealth as opposed to external wealth? Okay, we're going deep. The ultimate meaning of life, ultimate goal of life. This is actually something I talk about a lot in my book. And I really believe that this life this, what we're doing here, it's like a game. It's like a movie. We're here to play. We're here to have fun. We chose to come here. And we're here to enjoy, to be in joy. That's it. And the way that we figure out what we really love or what we really want is usually by experiencing the opposite. This is called contrast. So when you know what you don't want, you also then really know what you do want. Now, you don't have to suffer like that, but most people do. You can tune in meditation. You can connect with your source, with your highest self, and figure out what path you should be on, so then you don't have to make all of the mistakes. But most people choose to make the mistakes. and even when you are super connected, there's still you still have speed bumps. So that's the ultimate goal. And internal wealth versus external wealth. Well, I think there's a place for both. And I think internal wealth leads to external wealth. I'm from quite a poor family. Most of you know who have checked out my blogs or my videos or have seen me speaking. So my mum raised me and my brother on benefits, and you know, we had a great life. We were never hungry. We always had what we needed. We were very blessed to live in the UK, where the government take care of people. And I know there's a lot of people in other countries where that doesn't happen. So I'm really grateful that we had that support. And so for me, this quest for external wealth is something I've been on. And I worked for a $2 billion corporate company. I got to a senior manager level there. I had a nice house, a nice car, girlfriend, everything that you're supposed to want, cats, and it didn't make me happy. Because inside, I hadn't done the deep inner work. I didn't feel wealthy inside. So it didn't matter how that I was making more money than I'd ever made in my whole entire life, because I didn't really appreciate it, because I wasn't in my truth. I wasn't living a life that was aligned with who I really am. And when I went and met that guy who said I could be a public speaker, it just felt so good. I just knew that was what I was supposed to do. I knew I was here on this earth right now to be a teacher, to share my wisdom with people, because I've been doing personal development since I was 18, but it only really clicked in the last 4 years is when it all clicked. Okay, loads of questions. Keep them coming. I'm just going to keep this going as long as you all care. So let's play. And remember, if you ask a question and it's on the replay, then I'll reply to you afterwards. Okay, amazing question here. How do you surrender? And what has surrender taught you? Surrendering has been a really tough journey for me. I actually really love to surrender, but I also love to be in control. And so I used to take substances to make me surrender. I would get so drunk, I would like black out, and I just wouldn't be in control. Or yeah, I really liked taking substances, whatever it was, that would make me lose control. But surrendering is something that I've now come to really understand on a much deeper level, because we think we're in control. We think we can control this reality, but we're just kidding ourselves. Like, honestly, we can have intentions, we can have the best plans in the world, but the universe has its own plan. And ultimately, we're going to come into alignment with that. And I see us like, this is a game, this is a movie, and we can make choices and we can set intentions, and we can consciously like make plans, but our subconscious is controlling 90% of our life. And so you just have to let go. And one of the secrets to manifestation is actually to let go. Once you set the intention, then you have to let it go. Otherwise, it's like someone trying to bake a cake. Their intention is to bake a cake. They put it in the oven, but then they're opening the oven door every 30 seconds to see if it's ready yet. Like, it takes time for a flower to blossom. I love nature, and nature is all about timing. You can call it the Tao, universal consciousness, whatever you want that to be. It takes time. You can't rush a baby, right? It takes time to grow its arms and its legs. You don't want to rush it. You can't rush a flower. Grow faster. Like, plant a tree, plant a seed and want the tree to grow faster. This doesn't work. Next question. The Tantra events you hold, can you let me know what I can expect when visiting? Yes, of course. So I have two companies. We have the Standout Speakers Academy, that's all about public speaking. And the second company is our Academy of Conscious Sexuality. So thank you so much. I would love for you to come join us. We teach people how to have amazing sex, how to have truly nourishing, incredible sexual interactions, sexual experiences with yourself or with a partner that are aligned with who you are. And we do a whole range of different events. So the ones that we do, like 3-hour workshops, then they're normally clothes on, so no nudity. And there will be partner exercises in there. We might get you to do some connection exercises and things like that. But they're not usually with clothes off. But then we also host retreats. So we do a whole retreat. It's 6 days, and that is a nudist retreat. And in that, then there are different boundaries, different rules, and it's up to you how far you want to go with somebody. You're never made to do anything, and you definitely are not made to have sex with anybody. Like, that's not, we're all about boundaries, we're all about consent, but it's up to you how far you want to take things. And this is actually a really important thing to learn, is how to say no and how to know what your boundaries are, because most people let other people walk all over them, or most people are people pleasers. So if you want to come and learn about how to find out what your desires are, how to express your desires, because that's a scary thing, right? Once you know what you want, how do you ask for it? How do you go up to that girl or that guy that you really like and ask them? How do you go up to that that business mentor that you really like and ask them? How do you go up to that person that you admire, that author, and ask them for a photo or whatever it is, right? People are so afraid to ask. And if you don't ask, you don't get. I lived in Newcastle. They have a saying. They say, shy bairns get nowt. It means shy children get nothing. If you don't ask, you don't get. So I'd love for you to come join us at the Tantra events, and just check out the description. It tells you very clearly in there what the boundaries of the event are, if it's nudity, if it's not. Tantra changed my whole life. Learning about conscious sex is incredible. And one of the visions for the Academy of Conscious Sexuality is for us to become the #1 provider of sex education for adults and young people in the world. So I'm working on a project at the moment to do free sexual education for schools. So any school, we're going to be able to teach their children about conscious sexuality completely free. So that's what we're working on at the moment. If that's anything that anyone's interested in, I have a whole group. I've got so many different projects that we work on because we have a big team. We have one called Education Reform. So if you want to go on Facebook and look for Education Reform with Luke Scott, it's all about how we change the education system fundamentally. Because the education system we have now is 400 years old, and it was created to teach people how to work in factories. And we don't need to work in factories anymore. And it's actually not going to work because robots are taking over all those jobs. So someone was having a little panic the other day to me. They said, the world's ending. Like the Conservative Party are coming in and there's going to be no jobs and blah, 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 blah. And I said, look, everything is perfect. Everything is working out exactly as it should do. If there's no jobs in factories, that means people can get actual jobs that they love. It means people are going to have to become entrepreneurial. It means they're going to have to figure out how can they change, how can they shift something. And it also means, look, I believe the universe knows what it's doing. I don't believe that in mistakes. I believe everything happens for a reason. It's all divinely perfect. And it might be a tricky transition, and I'm not saying this lightly because I know what it's like to be one of the poorer people, but we'll all make it, right? You'll find a way. And it's when people hit rock bottom, that's when they usually dig deep, and that's when they make a change. And so maybe more people are going to hit rock bottom, maybe, and that will force them to change. Or maybe they'll listen to this and you'll start changing right now, and you'll start making a head start on whatever it is that is going to be the vehicle for you to have freedom and actually do what you love instead of doing what you've been programmed to do. Oh, that was a big one. Everybody take a deep breath in and out. I saw a real mixture of things flying up in the corner there. There were some angry faces, there were some happy ones. Somebody says, surrendering is all we can do. Amazing. Yo, Luke. Yo, Kat. Nice to see you, bro. I'm not going to ask you a question, but I want to know what the greatest question you want asked to you is. Okay, nice. Appreciate that. I know you don't follow the rules, which is why you're so amazing. Everyone check out Ket, by the way. Ketan Makwana, check him out. Really amazing. I had the pleasure of being in one of his magazines called Enterprise Lab. You can see it on my profile. It's still there, the article. It's really cool. He's doing loads of cool projects. And what question would I like to be asked? I'd love something a bit fun that makes me uncomfortable. I want someone to make me uncomfortable. Ask me something that I might not usually share in public. Yeah, I like being uncomfortable. So ask me. Ask me about something really real. That's what I would like. I heard from a source that you are... Okay. So my wife's just playing tricks on me. My wife is... She had this vision recently of our family in 2028. When you meditate, when you connect, you can tap into these different visions, and it's not to say they're all going to come true, but for me they feel really, really real. And she saw this vision of us in like 8 years time with our kids playing on a beach and just loving our life. And so she started researching like children's beach toys, and she's made a whole Pinterest board now about children's beach toys. Just prepared 8 years in advance. I love you, babe. You're very fun. Okay. If you have any other questions, if there's anything you'd love to know, you want to say hi, please do drop them below. If you're watching live, comment live. If you're watching on the replay, comment replay. I'm here for as long as you want me to be. I'm having fun. Question. When was the last time you feared that everything was going wrong, and what did you do to change your mindset? Nice. Good question. Honestly, really, yesterday. I had a bit of a breakdown yesterday. It was a tricky mental health day for me. And I actually spent most of the day in bed. I'd made a plan for this weekend to really focus on just doing the last finishing touches of my book. But when I woke up, I just didn't feel inspired to do it. I've been running this 7-day meditation challenge. So I created a 7-day meditation masterclass. So everyone can check it out. It's completely free. Just search in a group for meditation masterclass with Luke Scott. And tomorrow is day 7. So it's all there, free training every day. There's 7 hours of training on how to meditate. You're all welcome to it, more the merrier. And so I've been getting up at 6 a.m. and doing these live trainings. And I felt really good after the meditation, but then I just had this big drop, and I couldn't get out of it. I spoke to my wife and just explained I just feel really low, and that's not a place that I want to create from. Like, I don't want to bring that energy into my book. I wrote my book from an incredibly high vibe, like channeled place, and And what did I do to get over it? I went for a drive and I played songs from The Greatest Showman, the musical, and I sang them really, really loud. And then I came back and I watched The Greatest Showman on Netflix because it makes me happy. No, sorry, I watched Les Miserables. I was going to watch Greatest Showman, but then I decided to watch Les Mis on Netflix because it makes me happy. Actually, it's a whole roller coaster of emotions. It makes me sad and then makes me happy too. And then I have downloaded TikTok, so I've been having fun on TikTok. I actually posted 3 videos yesterday, and it's so fun. If you haven't got TikTok, check me out. It's at Spiritual Speaking. And most people on there are like 12 to 18 years old, but there's a group on there called the over 30s, and so we all just take the piss out of each other pretending that we're little teenagers, and it's so good. So it's at Spiritual Speaking on TikTok. Check it out. There's a video on my timeline if you go on Facebook and just scroll down a little bit as well. Wow, we've got so many people on. This is really cool. What was the last thing that you celebrated and why? I was actually really proud of myself for my TikToks. Just today, one of my TikToks has got over 1,000 views. And I was really happy. See this big smile? This isn't fake. I was so happy because I just love new things. Also, I've been learning Arabic and I've been really, really proud of that. I have two different ways I'm learning Arabic because I want to be able to read the Quran in Arabic, because when people give me the translations of these texts, they change it. They make it mean what they mean from their level of consciousness. So I want to be able to read the Quran from my level of consciousness and make my own choices. And then the third thing I'm really proud of is I've been learning guitar, relearning guitar, and I sang a song on my Facebook. I actually woke up really inspired one morning and I wrote a song. It's the first time I've written a song since I was 16, so like 15 years ago. I wrote a song that day, and then I was doing a Facebook Live about meditation, and my guidance just said, play your song. And I did. And it was really fun. So I was super proud of that too. I've been really living on my edge lately. There's a great guy called David Deida, D-E-I-D-A. He wrote a book called The Way of the Superior Man. And in this, he talks about when men are really happy, it's when they're living on their edge. And it says men, it's talking about the masculine. The masculine likes to be on the edge. It likes to be trying new things. It doesn't like being stuck or safe or stagnant. It's like adventure and excitement. So yeah, lots going on. Helen, hey Helen, says, how are you getting on with the vintage? My friend, amazing friend Helen, actually lent me this guitar because I went to her house to her party and she had a little campfire and she asked me to sing my song, so she got her guitar down, and I had a beautiful guitar. I had this beautiful blue guitar, and when we were traveling to London, my wife left it on the public transport and I never got it back, and so I am looking to get a blue guitar for Christmas if anyone wants to buy me one. It needs to be like electric blue acoustic guitar so it stands out. Would be amazing, Santa, if you're listening. Another question. I think I'm going to wrap up in maybe like 10-15 minutes. If you have any last questions you want to ask as well, literally ask me anything. I am totally here for you all. We have an amazing question here. How long after you started speaking with your wife did you know that you wanted her to be your wife? That is a very good question. Let me know in the comments. How long do you think it took for me when I met my wife to know that she was the person I wanted to marry? I'd love to know what you think about that. Comment that below. Have your guesses. I'm just gonna respond to a few of these questions. Just giving some loves and waves to everybody. How long do you think it took me? Someone says 3 seconds. Definitely more than 3 seconds. Here's a brief story. I met my wife at this public speaking event, and I went for lunch on the break, and I actually ate meat back then, so I went to a KFC just because it was cheap, and it was my favourite. I used to really enjoy eating chickens and other animals, but now I don't eat animal products at all because they're really bad for your health and bad for the animals and bad for the planet. So we met in a KFC, and I asked her to sit with me, and I was really businessy back then, so I didn't even give her my phone number or Facebook. We exchanged LinkedIn details and then we were messaging each other on LinkedIn. When did I know? It was actually we went to this 1-day event, and then what they do at a lot of public speaking events is they upsell you to like a longer, more intensive event. So we went to this 3-day event together, and we would do the event from like 9 in the morning till 6 at night, and then we would just stay up talking all night because we stayed in the same hotel. So we stayed up talking all night from like until 2-3 a.m. every morning, and she asked me questions that nobody else had ever asked me, and that was when I knew that she was my best friend. Every vision I've seen of my future and with my wife. We're in each other's lives, and we have a family together, and it feels really good. I don't know exactly when I knew. It was outside of a Wagamama's. I had this coaching session with this sex coach, and me and Mia were just friends at the time, and he showed me that I was actually in love with her, and I've never loved anybody in the way that I love my wife. The bond we have is deeper than a bond I've ever had with anybody. It's just real soul connection at the deepest level. And so yeah, that was when I knew. That was probably like almost a year after I met her. Maybe a bit less, maybe 6 months. I don't know. When did we do the Wagamama's thing, Mia? You're better with dates than me. Okay. If anyone has any final questions, thoughts, feelings about life, the universe, anything, please do comment them below. I'm going to sign off in about 10 minutes time. If there's anything you'd love to know. I've really enjoyed this. It's been really fun. I'm smiling, which is great. And my wife says it was in June, so it was 9 months after meeting. So that was when I knew for sure, Helen, that we were supposed to be together in that way. It's actually very interesting because we talk about this openly. We've run events together about relationships, but my wife actually knew way before I did, and I thought we were just friends, best friends, and it took me a little while to catch up. My wife says, I knew you were the one when we first met, but it took you longer to catch on. It took me 9 months to catch on. Yeah, those interesting times. I have some more questions over here that somebody asked earlier, so we'll go to those if there is none in the comments. Let me know if you're enjoying this, by the way. Let me know if you've had a good time. Okay, this question here. If you were the ruler of the world, what important policies would you introduce to transform the life of the masses, and why? I know straight away. Reform the education system. It is insane that we still send our kids to these schools that were made 400 years ago to teach them how to memorize things. We don't need to memorize things now. We have the internet. We can just ask Google anything and we get the answer in seconds. When I was a kid, we didn't have that. So we had to learn things, memorize them. But now school is like a memory test, but there are great schools that teach creativity, that teach play, that teach leadership, that teach critical thinking, problem solving. That's what we should be teaching our kids, but also just giving them a lot of time to just be kids. Finland has one of the best education systems in the world, and they only do 3 hours of lessons a day. And the rest of the time, the kids get to be kids. They get to be creative. They get to play. They get to have fun. So that's the first policy I would do, is I would transition our current education system from one about standardized testing to one about experience, getting the kids to learn, to actually socialize, to connect. That would be a big, big shift. So like I said, if you want to join our education reform group on Facebook, just look it up. I would love for you to join that. And we're on a mission. There's about 150 of us in there at the moment, all on a mission to change the education system. First thing. Second thing, I would make it illegal to kill animals. Because at the moment, it's legal to kill animals. And there was a time in our ancestry where people needed to eat meat and cheese as a survival technology. That's what it was. But we don't need it anymore. The World Health Organization has shown that you can thrive on a plant-based diet at any age of life. There's a whole massive, long, peer-reviewed study where they have proven that everybody can thrive on a plant-based diet. And so the only reason to really kill these animals now is because we are programmed that way, because of culture, and because we like the way that they taste. And so I would make it illegal to kill any animals unnecessarily. And that would mean we would change the way that the whole planet eats, because the way that we farm animals now, they're crammed in tiny cages for their whole lives. They don't even see sunlight. They're fed genetically modified crops, not even grass. They're fed grains. That's not what they're supposed to eat. And they're tortured and then they're killed. And it's really, really sad. So if you're interested in joining me, we actually have a 1 month Veganuary challenge. So for the whole of January, we're going vegan. We've got loads of people joining. I have a private support group and I will coach you for absolutely free if you want to come and try being plant-based for a whole month, because it makes such a difference. And there's vegan versions of everything now. So that's the second thing I would change. And I'm going to go for one more. What important policy would I put in place if I was the ruler of the world? This is a deep one and might be controversial. But we need to change the way that the money system works. Big corporations control everything because they have loads of money and they have resources. And it's insane. They're brainwashing us with advertising, and they're giving us products we don't need, drugs we don't need, and they're making it illegal, and they're hiding all the benefits of things like hemp. Hemp is one of the most durable materials in the entire world. You can make everything from it. It would get rid of deforestation. It would, if most farmers who grow cattle started growing hemp instead, most of the world's problems would dissolve. We would be able to solve world hunger because the grain that we feed to animals, we could just give to the people in other countries. It's kind of crazy. What I would love for us to work towards in the future is having one world government. instead of having each country having its own government. Because if there's just one world government, then there is no such thing as us and them. It's like in the United States of America. They all used to be separate states. And now there is no, oh, we're not going to help the people who are in Georgia because we're in Washington. Of course not. They're all one. And if everyone on the planet, if we were all one centralized government, there would be no starving people because we would share our resources evenly. There'd be no need for the military, because not in the way that it is now, because there'd be no one to go to war with. Do the different states in America go to war with each other? Of course not. They have processes in place, and I think this is a great system. This is actually, if you believe this, and I do, there's loads of documentary series where they tell you how other beings live on other planets, because there are other planets other than ours, more advanced civilizations that have already evolved past this 3D duality, us versus them mentality. And on those planets, they just have one central government for the whole planet to share the resources evenly. So everybody can have a good quality of life. That's what I would shift. And Darren says, does size matter? Darren, depends on what you're talking about. If ladies, let me know. Does size matter? Yes, size definitely matters. Size is very, very important. If you want to post a parcel and it can't fit through the letterbox, you have to pay extra postage. So you need to be aware of that. If you are putting a chest of drawers up, you need to have the right size spanners. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. Sexually, it depends on the person. Different people are made for different sizes. And there are some people who have very small packages and they are very good at pleasing their lovers. And two women can be together and they can be perfectly fine. So I think size is dependent on your own experience. And I think that's a beautiful place to end. I hope you enjoyed this. This will be going on all my different social medias. Check me out on YouTube, Luke Scott Official, Facebook, and Luke Scott the Third with 3 I's. My website, www.lukescottofficial.com. Do follow us at the Standout Speakers Academy. Do follow the Academy of Conscious Sexuality and add me on TikTok and Instagram at Spiritual Speaking. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I really do look forward. Comment below the rest of your questions so I know what to say next time. Take care.